Good afternoon, everybody. It's Mike. It is Thursday, the 12th of March. This is our subscriber webinar. I'm beat. I know you guys are beat. It's been a hellacious couple of weeks. We are in uncharted territory. We've never seen a move like this in the markets before. And so I thought we'd sit here and we'd talk about this a little bit tonight. And anything you guys want to go over, please bring up as well. We've officially closed here in a bear market. Hang on. I need to kill Charlie. Charlie, shut up. All right. Benzinger. Okay. We've officially entered ourselves into a bear market. We're down over 20% from the highs. We closed in that range now. It wasn't just an intraday dip. We've been down, down, down. The market cannot find a bottom. And what's going on here in this market, guys? There's one word for it, and that word is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of the coronavirus and how it's going to affect not only everybody's lives, but fiscally, what kind of damage is this going to do to the world economy and everybody out there? Now, I do agree with a couple of things going on here as you look at this move. And I just, if you look at this move, I cannot tell you, like, we haven't seen anything like this. And, sometimes when you open things up and you go to a max look at the markets, look at the voraciousness of this 2-week move down in the markets, and you have nothing like this. You just look back and say, God, we've never seen anything like this. We've never seen an unwind like this before, where everybody has just run for the hills as fast as they possibly can. And when you look and say, well, where could we go? Where will we find a bottom here? At this point, this area down here, the lows from December starts to really come into play. And here's your 30% correction in the markets at 237. At this point, you have outright panic and fear in the markets, and you cannot find a buyer. And the other thing that's playing into all this, of course, is the VIX. And the VIX is just absolutely exploded in fear. We haven't seen readings like this in forever. We're up at 76. And that is killing the options, right? Because options are so jacked in price now because of this. And again, look at the long term of the VIX, right? We haven't seen this since back in the financial crisis, right? And then the last time was all the way back here in the back in here. But look at this. I mean, we haven't seen this. So you have this huge move up, and what this does is it makes options extremely overpriced. And when that happens, we get these big price gouges in the options market. And what I mean by that is, look at the IV, 100% on Disney. The other day we were looking at Royal Caribbean lines, right? Look at the weekly IV here on these things, 200, 300%, right? Option prices are out the yin yang. They're priced into absolute unbelievable levels. And that's part of the problem. Makes this much harder to play because you're paying a huge premium to play with options here right now. And the spreads have been wider, especially in the early part of the day. Okay, so what's going on is, we have this fear, and this is where I am going to throw my political nature out of this and keep it to myself, but try to talk to you what's going on. So when you look at the coronavirus here and what's going on, 127,000 cases, 68,000 recovered, this chart here, right? First thing you need to know here is China has flattened out and is in recovery mode. The rest of the world, the yellow, is catching up, right? The yellow is moving up. And when you look at this, you say, okay, what does that mean? Well, then you come over here and you look at this chart here. Oops, wrong one. Okay. Italy, 12,000 cases is absolutely exploding right now. Everything is going to hell there. That's what everybody's worried about. We knew Iran. Believe it or not, South Korea is coming out of this. South Korea has gotten control of this, even though it had this explosive move because of their history with SARS came in. Them and Japan. You notice Japan's all the way down here. Look at how good Japan's doing. They've been able to take this on. It's the rest of the free world. Look at France and Spain and Germany, and here's us going up. Here's something else to know, a little tidbit for you. South Korea is testing 50,000 people a day. The United States right now only has the capacity to test 200 people a day. This number, and this is what everybody's focused on, is probably not real. And that's the big fear. And that's the worry, that this number in the next week is going to absolutely explode like we've seen in Italy. And if you know, I'm trying to put this out there so you guys understand and make sense. So what's going on here? So what you're seeing now at this point is you're seeing that all these where the federal government has not stepped in and done a lot, you're seeing companies, local governments, and leagues come in and do what they didn't do. Started out this morning when we saw the cruise industry just suspending services, saying we're stopping all services. We're not going to have any more cruises. We're calling all of our ships. Then the NBA canceled their season, suspended their season last night. Major League Baseball did, soccer did, hockey did. I hear Live Nation is canceling all their tours and events. In New York, they finally shut Broadway down. No gatherings over 500 people. They're shutting down all events in New York City and taking an unprecedented action of nobody can go to nursing homes to visit to keep people protected there. So we're seeing this step in where we didn't see this come from Trump last night in terms of reassuring people. And people are looking to be reassured. We're also waiting on some type of fiscal stimulus here, which is going to be needed as these, if this goes the way of Italy and people get laid off. So keep an eye on that. That's what's going on. The Senate and the House, they're currently negotiating between the House and the Democrats. Here's the good news. They're actually talking to each other. They're actually sitting there talking to each other, and that's the great news. Whereas yesterday they weren't talking to each other. So what's going on is the markets in the credit sphere, we're entering into an unknown territory. There is talk out there that the United States may shut down for a week to try to get a handle on this. And while I worry about that, I think that ultimately that is the best way to get your handle on this, is to do that. So the markets are living in fear. Now, what's going to calm the markets? A couple of things are going to calm the markets. One is the headlines start to taper off and we start getting some better news, right? Cases around the world, we start to get containment. We have a vaccine that looks like we'll have it ready, or some type of drug to help with this. That could help. The financial stimulus will help. And honestly, probably more as on top of all this would be if it looked like the federal government was stepping in and really taking control and trying to do things. Look at New York City. They quarantined New Rochelle. I know New Rochelle. My grandmother used to live in the Bronx. We used to go over there all the time. I mean, it's amazing to me that they quarantined that area down. So that will help calm the markets. You're going to recognize the bottom in this market. Everybody who keeps going out there, I'm saying to me, I'm afraid I'm going to miss it. Is this the bottom? Is this the bottom? The bottom is going to stand out. At the end of the day, this bottom will stand out in this market. It'll look, while this looks bad, it's going to look something like, let's go out here, right? Something like this, right? Some type of big bounce, does like this and starts to go. That said, El Arain, the analyst, he's always on CNBC. He said something to me, and I just said this to you guys 3 times today, but what he said to me made so much sense today. He said, we're putting so much liquidity into the market. That was before the 1.5 trillion additional put in today from the Fed, that when the green light flashes, it will flash at some point. We are going to have such a snapback. The financial markets are going to lead the real economy. He is dead on this. He's right. But what he also said, and I agree with, this is not a V bounce. This is either a U or a L, okay? And what does he mean by an L? An L is you come down and you come off and you go sideways until the news starts to resolve and we start to get back to normal. Or U is you do a slow down rounding bottom and come back up. So I really actually agree with him in this one. Will we get a vicious snapback at some point? Yes. What is amazing to me is every time they have a chance to screw with the shorts in this market, they let them off the hook. Shorts are so comfortable right now. I said this to you guys earlier. They're tap dancing on everybody's head. They're ecstatic. They haven't felt like this in forever. So what do? You're patient. Today I was struggling. I finally found one trade, made up for my losses, and made money on the day. You keep as much of your powder dry as you can. You trade small, because you're waiting for that time to pounce. You have your shopping list. Names. So what do you want to do? Let's talk about some names. What are names you guys like? Well, I'll tell you, and I'll start off. And you'll know a lot of these. Okay. Names I like as we come out of this. Square. Why Square? Because this was one of the stronger names. I know it's completely capitulated here, but they're firing. They're in the payment space. The payment space is a great place to be. You know, this thing is a huge discount down here in the 40s. I love it. All right. I like this name. Let's open this up to a 5-year here. You can see what it's done here, right? It came down, but opening up back into this area. Maybe it comes down to 50. You know, maybe I start nibbling down there, but I love this name. Micron, you know, I've loved Micron for a long time. Finally capitulated this week after holding in well. But all the way down here, does it hold in? Is it possible, right? This name has a lot starting to go for it. Again, everything's going to get hit. Back to the payment space. If you loved Visa and MasterCard, what was going on, these are screaming buys here down because of the opening up of China. Remember the trade talks? Is anybody even talking about China trade right now? So much going on here, so much to talk about. Twitter, still love it. You know, hanging in as best it can. I think this name is well positioned in the social media space. It's not a lot of competition. Again, everything's beaten down here. Everything looks off. I have GE. I'm looking to add to it. I know it's gotten beaten hard this week, but you know, that's what's going to happen in anything like this. Everything's going to get beaten to a pulp. A lot of you guys keep asking me about Roku. Love Roku. Hated Roku up here. Starting to warm up again here. Why here? This is that top up here. This is an area I'd start getting really interested. I would get extremely interested if we got down into the 60s to 50 to 60 range down here. Okay? Because that would just be ludicrous. So what are names you want me to look at? What are some things I can go over with you guys today? You know, what can we talk about here that you want me to go over with you? Nothing, guys? Any names you're thinking of? We talked about Twitter, but we just did. I like Twitter. I will add to my Twitter position as we come down into when we bounce. You know, I don't know if we can't hold here. You know, I don't know. We could find. You know, it has a lot of support down into this area, right through. You know, maybe 25 area. We'll see. Again, I wouldn't buy anything till the market shows it's going to turn. That's me. Okay, Amazon. I still love Amazon, Reed. I think this is going to be okay in a big winner here, right? It's held in better than a lot of the markets here. Where could it go to at this point? It's on some support here. You know, maybe 1600, and then maybe all the way down to 1330 would be a steal. If the market closes SS, your options are toast. So this is something you need to think about. Historically, the market is never just shut down without giving notice. But, do you understand what I'm saying? But, if on Sunday they decide to shut this country down for a week, you're going to be lost. So you need to be aware of that. Are you with me? So, I'm going to encourage you all to think carefully what risk you take over the weekend, just in case, right? I don't think they will, but if they did, you know, you're going to be looking at me saying, what do we do? What do I do here? And I'm going to look at you and say, it's toast. It doesn't change anything. They'll just decay with no movement, Reed. So what'll happen is when you look at your option chains, let me pull one up for you. Right? When you look at your option chains, all they'll do is they'll decay a week. Does that make sense? Yeah. So just realize that. Okay? Just realize that's what's going to happen in that. So again, it's just great questions. This is exactly why we do these webinars, by the way. That's the risk we have right now in this environment. We'll keep an eye on the news. We'll keep an eye on what's going on. You know, Google was firing on all cylinders coming into this. It was actually leading, right? big here. What maybe off the 200-day here on the weekly, it holds down around 1,000 plus. You know, a buying opportunity here. You know, you just got to pick the names you like. You also want to look at the fundamentals a little bit here. Everything's going to get beaten up in a market like this. Nothing's going to hold in. No, we've never seen anything like this, SS. Historically, we've never seen anything like this. You know, I can tell you that, you know, again, bring you back here to the SPY. And what I want you to focus on is the oscillator down here, right? I'm going to actually make this a bigger so you can see it easier. And I'm going to open this chart up to the max. I mean, look at this, right? I started trading at the end of just after 2008 AR. So I was trading at the just as it was coming out of it. That's when I started. The similar nature to this to 2008 is that we can't hold the bounce. Every day in 2008, we would start to bounce on the open, and by noon we would sell off and close red. And that way it's very, very similar. What's different about this is a short-term event. And what I mean by that is not to try to minimize this, is that this is going to pass, right? While I made fun of Trump for saying this will all go away, this will pass. We will get a vaccine out. We will get containment on this, either quicker or either, you know, sooner or later, right? Depending on which one it is. And this will come back. And the economy was strong, and the economy will come back. Everything will fire back up again. This is not like when the financial markets crash and there's no liquidity. Liquidity is not an issue here. It's just incredible uncertainty and fear of how bad this can get. Does that make sense? Does that make sense what I'm saying here to you guys? You know, in the financial crisis, it was get the hell out of Dodge, run for your life. This is just, you know, just seeing it. You talked about the airlines. You know, at some point, I agree, the airlines are a screaming buy. Again, I went over this on last Friday. I can't believe it's last Friday already, right? I went over this on TV. I actually have that tomorrow again. You know, United Airlines all the way back here into a 3-year low, pummeled, one of the better airlines after that. Yep, after it's over, with the low price of oil, right? And that was the double whammy, AR. Let's talk about that. That is the absolute double whammy that hit us. On Sunday, that oil war that's not going away, right? They're not going to go away, helped to crater us again. So we've had 2 black swan events hitting this market. Do you guys ever remember a time when we had 2 black swan events hitting the market? NCAA just canceled March Madness. There goes that. Right? We've never had anything like this. Again, where are people going to put money? Are they going to buy bonds? Right? Yields are what? They're not going to stay in bonds. Eventually, they're going to come out of bonds because there's no yield. Right? So where's money eventually going to come back to? It's going to come back to the markets. It's got nowhere else to go. The government's going to go into tremendously more debt. That's a given. Companies are going to take advantage of these big TARP programs. That's a given here at this point. We're going to get tax cuts to people who are working to help them survive this, who get laid off and have to deal with this. You know, and, you know, the life will go on. But, you know, so pick what names you like. Pick names you feel comfortable. Start looking at them. Have a plan. Remember, when the market comes in, the VIX is going to, you know, as the VIX comes down, it's going to hurt option prices. So you got to watch that for a while. All right, you're going to have to be careful with that. I want to encourage you guys all to keep yourselves and your families safe. Please take some precautions. No, I'm not worried that everybody's going to go out and die, but you want to try to do your best to avoid this, especially keep it away from older family members. Please stock up on some supplies in case it gets so bad, especially non-perishable foods. We've talked about this. Having cash in your hand is often a very good thing too. This will go, but it's going to take some pain. And likely the biggest pain is going to start next week. You know, there's a case in Bridgewater. I know there was a case in Princeton earlier today too. Thanks, Pascar. The other thing likely that's going to happen here, if this really starts to hit hard, the media is going to blow this out of proportion in the hospitals. We're going to have horrific images all over the TV and stuff. So just be aware, you know, this is what we're likely heading towards if something doesn't happen here. All right, what else do you guys want to go over? Because I need to go out and buy myself some vodka. Media should be quarantined. I agree. Work, what are you doing? Work, not good. Adobe, not much. Ulta, okay. All right. CMG, you know, again, beaten to a pulp. You remember how good earnings were? You remember comps were so good? This is, you know, a long term, this is a fabulous buy down here, Mascar. They've gotten rid of all the problems they had with their virus. Remember they had all the health issues? Everybody getting sick in their stores? They've taken care of that. I mean, yeah, I agree. This should, when this is over, this should bounce back. You know, good point. McDonald's, another one, like, right? Starbucks, these should all bounce back when this is over strongly. You know, put them where you want. The banks are going to get creamed, but they're going to get discounted to the point where people are going to want them. And down here at 80 something, JP Morgan starts looking attractive again, doesn't it? That's a tough one for me to answer, my estimate. There's so many unknowns here. I suspect that this will turn around June. We'll start setting back to normal. It could be sooner if we take more drastic action. People will start buying, but I don't expect a V bounce, SS. I expect more of a slow bounce. But I mean, if we took drastic action and we said, if the world stepped up right now and said, we're shutting down for a month to let this virus die off, only keeping critical stores and services open, that would be drastic. That would quicken this. Does that make sense? It would take the economies to a halt, but it would accelerate the stopping of this. That's what China did. You know, I love my people. Yeah, I come from Italy. I wasn't born there, obviously, but I have family and stuff over there. And I told you this. My father was talking with them over there, and you know, in Lombardy, when only Lombardy was quarantined, these freaking idiots. Oh, we're still going to work. We're still going to restaurants. We're still going to bars. We're just quarantined from everybody else. And that is the exact reason why this is out of control in Italy now, because they didn't enforce it. Here it goes. Disneyland to close on Friday. Disney World's got to be right behind it. So that's my thoughts here, guys. Anything else I can go over with you? Is this helping you? Does this help? Does this help get you guys an idea of where I'm thinking and everything? Okay. You know, there's no quick band-aid here. And again, I encourage you guys, tack this with it's going to take a while, and that's okay. All right. But here's the good news. If you keep your money dry, and when we come out of this, there's a lot of money to be made. Does that make sense? No reaction. It's a rumor. It's on social media. All right, guys. Everybody, please keep yourselves safe. Be good. Those watching this on replay, to you as well. I hope you guys all have a fabulous, fabulous evening. and I will catch you guys all tomorrow morning. Yeah, definitely a drink night. I might put this one up publicly. I thought this was a good one. Maybe we'll share this publicly with people. Bad idea? Yeah, I think so. Good idea as well. All right, guys. Have a wonderful night. Thank you. Catch you tomorrow. Yeah, please do, Chris.